The Galactic Concordat had existed for 10,000 years, a testament to the unity of spacefaring civilizations. Their technology was perfect, their diplomacy refined, and their societies free from the primitive concept of warfare. That changed the day the Void Hunters emerged from the dark space between galaxies. The Concordat's perfect defense systems proved useless against an enemy that didn't play by the rules of conventional physics. Their immaculate diplomatic protocols meant nothing to beings that communicated only in destruction. Within months, 15 core worlds had fallen silent. First Minister Zixtal stood before the emergency session of the Concordat Council, their crystalline form dimming with each word of the report. The 7th Fleet has been lost. The Hunters consumed everything. Ships, crews, even the energy signatures of their weapons. Their voice cracked, an unprecedented display of emotion in the council chambers. We have no defense against them. The council chambers erupted in chaos. 10,000 years of peace had left them unprepared for this nightmare. Their weapons were ceremonial, their ships designed for comfort rather than combat. The Concordat was facing extinction, and they knew it. That was when Administrator Venra, their head of Synorchaeology, requested emergency speaking rights. The ancient aliens' tentacles trembled as they approached the center platform. There might be one option left. We've discovered a species, one we've been monitoring but avoiding contact with. They're primitive by our standards, confined to a single star system. But they're different from any species we've encountered. Projected images filled the chamber. A blue-green world, teeming with life and industry. But what caught everyone's attention were the scenes of conflict. The assembled council watched in horror as these beings, humans, engaged in warfare against themselves. They saw cities rebuilt from ashes, wounds healed through sheer determination, and an unrelenting drive to survive against all odds. These humans, Venra continued, they understand something we've forgotten: how to fight. Their entire history is marked by conflict and survival. They've split the atom, reached their moon, and begun exploring their system, all while continuing to wage war among themselves. They're primitive, yes, but they possess something we lack: the warrior's spirit. The council chambers fell silent. Contact with such a volatile species went against every principle of the Concordat. Yet, as reports of another system going dark filtered in, First Minister Zixtal made an unprecedented decision. Send the signal, they commanded. But understand what we're doing. We're not just asking for help. We're introducing a new variable into the galactic equation. If these humans agree to fight for us, nothing will ever be the same. The message was composed, translated into the primitive radio waves the humans still used, and broadcast toward the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star. The Concordat, masters of 1,000,000 worlds, could only wait and hope that these savage beings would be willing to fight the monsters that threatened to devour the galaxy. They didn't have to wait long. The response came within their equivalent of 3 Earth days, transmitted on all frequencies in multiple formats to ensure reception. Its content shocked the council to their core. The humans weren't just willing to help, they were eager. Their message spoke not of payment or terms, but of duty and the moral obligation to defend life against extinction. What the Concordat didn't understand then, but would soon learn, was that they hadn't just found warriors, they had found protectors. Humanity's response wasn't driven by bloodlust or the desire for glory, but by something the Concordat had never considered: the fundamental drive to stand up for others, even at great personal cost. As the first human ships prepared to leave their solar system, using technologies that the Concordat had dismissed as crude and inefficient, the galaxy held its breath. The age of perfect peace was over. The age of humanity had begun. General Sarah Chen stood at the window of the newly constructed Terran Defense Command, watching shuttles ferry materials to the growing fleet in orbit. 6 months ago, she had been commanding peacekeeping operations in Southeast Asia. Now she was overseeing humanity's first interstellar military operation. The latest ship is ready for inspection, General, reported Colonel James Rodriguez, his tablet displaying the specifications of the converted cargo vessel. Like most of their fleet, it had been a civilian ship just months ago. Now it bristled with hastily mounted weapons and reinforced armor. "How many does that make now?" Chen asked, though she knew the answer. Every ship was precious. Every vessel a testament to humanity's frantic preparation. 317 combat-capable vessels, ma'am. Not exactly a grand armada by science fiction standards, but it's everything we could arm in time. Rodriguez's attempt at humor barely masked his concern. Chen nodded, turning to face the holographic display dominating the command center. Red markers showed the steady advance of the Void Hunters, each point representing another fallen alien world. The Concordat's territories were vast, but they were falling one by one. "Have our scientists made any progress understanding their technology?" she asked, gesturing to the streams of data flowing across auxiliary screens. Dr. Emily Watson, their lead xenotechnologist, stepped forward. Her eyes were ringed with exhaustion, but they sparkled with excitement. "The Concordat ships are amazing, General. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours in most areas. But that's actually part of the problem. They've optimized everything so much that they've lost adaptability." She pulled up schematics of a Concordat vessel alongside one of their converted Earth ships. "Look at this. Their ships are perfect for peaceful exploration and transportation. Every system is interconnected, every component refined to peak efficiency. But when the hunters attack and disable one system, the whole ship fails," Chen finished, "while our primitive compartmentalized designs keep functioning even when damaged." "Exactly. We might be using brute force solutions, but sometimes a sledgehammer is more useful than a scalpel." The meeting was interrupted by a priority alert. A young lieutenant's voice cracked with excitement. "General, we're receiving new data from the Concordat's long-range sensors. The hunters have changed course. They're heading toward the Proxima colony." The command center fell silent. Proxima Centauri, humanity's first and only extrasolar colony, home to 50,000 pioneers. It wasn't a coincidence. The hunters knew humanity was preparing to fight, and they were sending a message. Chen's voice cut through the tension. "Send the order. All ships launch immediately. We're not waiting any longer." She turned to face her staff, her expression hard. "The Concordat has spent 10,000 years learning how to live in peace. We've spent 10,000 years learning how to fight. It's time to show these hunters why humanity never achieved that same peace." Within hours, the first human battle fleet in history broke orbit. Their ships were ugly by Concordat standards. Converted cargo vessels, passenger liners turned troop carriers, mining ships now bristling with weapons. But they carried something the hunters hadn't encountered before. Humans who had spent their entire history learning to overcome superior forces. As the fleet accelerated toward their first interstellar battle, Chen received a message from the Concordat Council. They were concerned about the fleet launching ahead of schedule, worried about the lack of proper protocols and procedures. Chen's response was brief. "Humanity has never waited for permission to do what's right." In the fleet's command ship, converted from a luxury space liner, Chen addressed her forces. Her words were broadcast to every vessel, every soldier, every crew member who had volunteered for this impossible mission. "We are about to engage an enemy that has never known defeat. They have superior technology, superior numbers, and the advantage of experience in interstellar warfare. But we have something they don't understand: the human spirit. We fight not for glory, not for territory, but for the right of all species to exist free from fear. Every ship in this fleet is a testament to human ingenuity, every crew member a testament to human courage." She paused, looking at the tactical display showing their fleet's formation. It wasn't the perfect geometric patterns the Concordat used. It was adaptive, flexible, ready to change at a moment's notice. "The hunters think attacking Proxima will break our resolve. They're about to learn that threatening humanity's children is the last mistake any species should make. All ships, battle stations. We fight not just for Earth now, but for every civilization that looks to the stars with hope instead of fear. As the fleet entered faster than light travel, Chen reflected on the irony. Humanity had dreamed of first contact bringing enlightenment, advanced technology, and peace. Instead, it had brought a war for survival. But perhaps this was humanity's true role in the galaxy, not to learn peace from others, but to teach them how to survive when peace fails. The Void Hunters' ships appeared as writhing masses of darkness against the backdrop of Proxima Centauri. Their fleet dwarfed humanity's forces, hundreds of biomechanical vessels that seemed to absorb both light and hope. But General Chen saw something the Hunters didn't: an opportunity. "All ships, execute Operation Thunderbolt," Chen commanded. The human fleet, which had been maintaining a tight defensive formation around Proxima Colony, suddenly scattered in seemingly random directions. To the Concordat observers, it looked like chaos. To the Hunters, it appeared to be retreat. To Chen, it was the culmination of humanity's greatest strength: unpredictability. "They're taking the bait," reported Captain Maria Santos from the scout ship Magellan. "Hunter fleet is splitting up to pursue individual targets, just as predicted." Chen allowed herself a grim smile. The Hunters, like the Concordat, had never encountered an enemy that didn't follow logical battle patterns. But humans had millennia of experience in turning chaos into advantage. The first trap sprung when a hunter vessel pursued the mining ship Deathworlder into an asteroid field. The massive ship, originally designed to break apart space rocks, activated its modified mining lasers. But instead of targeting the hunter ship directly, it began superheating the metal-rich asteroids around them. Within seconds, the field became a cloud of molten shrapnel, tearing through the hunter's organic hull. "Deep core gambit successful," announced Colonel Rodriguez. 3 enemy ships confirmed destroyed. "They're learning, though. The others are pulling back from similar traps." But humanity was just getting started. The converted cargo vessels, their holds filled not with goods but with thousands of small automated drones, released their payloads. These weren't the sophisticated combat drones the Concordat used, but simple machines programmed with one purpose: to confuse and overwhelm. The Hunters' advanced targeting systems, designed to track large vessels, were suddenly confronted with thousands of small, erratically moving objects. Each drone broadcast conflicting signals, creating an electronic chaos that the Hunters' hive mind struggled to process. "Now," Chen ordered, Phase 2. The real attack came from the converted passenger liners. Their luxurious observation decks had been replaced with banks of electromagnetic pulse generators, crude by Concordat standards, but devastatingly effective against the Hunters' biotech ships. The pulses weren't powerful enough to disable the larger vessels, but they created windows of vulnerability. Through these windows came humanity's true weapons: modified space tugs, their magnetic grapples replaced with thermal lances. The Hunters' organic ships, for all their advanced technology, were still bound by the laws of biology, and nothing in nature could survive having its cellular structures superheated from within. "Enemy fleet is attempting to regroup," reported the tactical officer. "They're adapting to our tactics faster than expected." Chen had anticipated this. The Hunters were intelligent, capable of learning and adapting. But so were humans, and they had one more card to play. "Launch the Trojan horse," she commanded. From the rear of the human fleet, a single Concordat vessel emerged, one of their few surviving ships, apparently damaged and retreating from the battle. The Hunters, their hive mind recognizing the familiar technology, immediately moved to consume it as they had done countless times before. They didn't detect the modified fusion reactors inside, deliberately designed to go critical the moment the Hunters attempted to absorb the ship's energy. The resulting explosion created a chain reaction through their interconnected biological network, burning out their neural pathways faster than they could adapt. "Multiple enemy ships going dark," reported Santos. "Their hive mind is fragmenting. They can't coordinate their responses anymore." The battle shifted decisively. Without their unified intelligence, the Hunter ships became individual threats rather than a coordinated force. powerful and dangerous, but no longer invincible. Human ships, designed to operate independently, pressed their advantage. Hours later, as the last hunter ship fell to a concentrated barrage from the remaining human fleet, Chen received a transmission from the Concordat Council. Their message began with what she recognized as their equivalent of stunned silence. "We do not understand," the First Minister finally spoke. "Your ships are primitive. Your weapons are inefficient. Your tactics defied all logical battle doctrine. How did you achieve victory?" Chen's response was simple. "We didn't try to be better than them. We just had to be different enough that they couldn't predict us. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our ability to think beyond the expected." As recovery operations began around Proxima Colony, the surviving hunter wrecks were already being studied by human and Concordat scientists. The threat wasn't over. There would be more hunters, and they would learn from this defeat. But humanity had proven something essential. The galaxy's greatest predators could be beaten. More importantly, they had demonstrated why peaceful civilizations sometimes needed warriors to protect them. The Concordat had created a perfect society, but perfection was fragile. Humanity's imperfections, their chaos, their unpredictability, their willingness to try the impossible, had proven to be the exact weapon needed against an enemy that expected perfection. The aftermath of the Battle of Proxima Centauri painted the space around the colony in debris and light. Emergency beacons flickered among the wreckage, their steady pulses marking where human ships had made their final stands. General Chen stood in her command center, no longer watching tactical displays but reading casualty reports. "Final numbers are in," Colonel Rodriguez reported, his voice heavy. "We lost 87 ships. Nearly 15,000 personnel." He paused, swallowing hard. "But we saved Proxima Colony. 50,000 colonists, plus the billions in the Concordat systems that would have been next." Chen nodded silently. The Concordat representatives present in the command center watched with fascination as tears rolled down her cheeks. Their species had evolved beyond such displays of emotion, viewing them as primitive responses. But now they witnessed something they hadn't expected: strength and vulnerability. "Send the names to Earth," Chen ordered. "Every person we lost had a family, friends, a life they sacrificed. They deserve to be remembered not just as statistics, but as heroes." The Concordat's First Minister Zixtal approached, their crystalline form shifting in what humans had learned was a gesture of respect. "We do not understand," they admitted. "Your people knew the probability of death was high, yet they volunteered. They fought with determination even when their ships were failing. Why?" Chen turned to face the alien leader. "Because that's what humans do. We protect those who need protection. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. Not because it's logical, but because it's right." The command center's attention shifted as Dr. Watson rushed in, her tablet displaying new data from the hunter wreckage. "General, Minister, you need to see this. The hunters, they weren't just attacking. They were running from something." The holographic display came to life, showing decoded data from the hunter ship's biological computers. The images were alien and difficult to interpret, but one thing was clear: the hunters had been fleeing across galaxies, consuming everything in their path, not just for sustenance, but to build up strength for a greater conflict. "There's something out there," Watson explained, "something that scared even them. They weren't just predators. They were prey trying to become strong enough to fight back." The revelation sent ripples through both human and Concordat leadership. The victory suddenly felt less complete, the future less certain. But Chen saw something else in the data: an opportunity. "Minister," she addressed Zixtal, "your people have spent millennia perfecting peace. Mine have spent millennia perfecting war. But maybe what we both need is to learn from each other." She gestured to the debris field visible through the command center's windows. "Look at what we achieved together. Your technology, our tactics. Your wisdom, our determination. Apart, we're vulnerable. Together, Zixtal finished, their crystalline form glowing brighter. We might stand a chance against whatever comes next. The following days saw a transformation in the relationship between humans and the Concordat. As recovery teams, both human and alien, worked together to search for survivors and salvage technology, barriers began to break down. The Concordat witnessed humans weeping over fallen comrades while working tirelessly to save others. They saw strength in what they had previously dismissed as weakness. In the medical bays, Concordat healers were amazed by the human body's resilience, its ability to survive against overwhelming odds. Human doctors, in turn, learned from the Concordat's advanced medical technology, finding ways to merge it with human determination to save lives that would have been lost to either civilization alone. Officer Maya Patel, commander of the destroyed ship Karachi, woke in a medical bay to find her severe burns being treated by a combination of Concordat biotechnology and human emergency medicine. The alien healers were fascinated by her first words, not about her own condition, but asking about her crew. Such concern for others, even in extreme personal distress, one healer noted. We had classified this as primitive emotional response. We were wrong. It is beautiful. The cost of victory was high, but it brought something unprecedented, true understanding between species. The Concordat began to see that their perfect peace had come at the cost of losing something essential. Humans, in turn, found their warrior spirit tempered by the Concordat's wisdom. They remained protectors, but now with access to knowledge and technology that could make their protection more effective, more precise. As the joint fleet prepared for the possibility of future threats, Chen received a message from Earth. The United Earth Council had approved the formation of a permanent joint defense force, combining human determination with Concordat technology. They called it the Guardian Fleet, protectors not just of humanity or the Concordat, but of all species who wish to live in peace while maintaining the strength to defend that peace. 5 years after the Battle of Proxima Centauri, the galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. The newly constructed Guardian Fleet Academy on Mars stood as a testament to this transformation, its architecture blending Concordat crystalline spires with human practical design. Inside its great hall, General Sarah Chen, now Admiral of the Guardian Fleet, addressed the first graduating class of both human and Concordat cadets. When we first met the Concordat, she began, looking out at the diverse faces before her. Both our civilizations thought we knew what the other was. They saw us as primitive warriors, bound by emotion and chaos. We saw them as advanced but naive, unable to defend themselves. We were both wrong, and we were both right. The hall was filled with an unprecedented sight. Crystalline Concordat forms sitting alongside human cadets, each wearing the new uniform of the Guardian Fleet. What had begun as an emergency alliance had evolved into something more, a true fusion of civilizations. The hunters taught us all the crucial lesson. Chen continued. The galaxy isn't divided between warriors and peacekeepers, between the primitive and the advanced. It's divided between those who would destroy and those who would protect. And protection requires both wisdom and strength, both peace and the will to defend it. In orbit above Mars, the new Guardian Fleet ships demonstrated this philosophy in their very design. Concordat technology had been adapted with human innovation, creating vessels that were both elegant and resilient. The fleet's flagship, appropriately named Unity, represented the peak of this collaboration, a ship that could navigate the stars with Concordat precision while fighting with human determination. But the changes went far beyond military matters. The Concordat society, once rigidly focused on achieving perfection, had begun to embrace human adaptability. Their cities, once uniform in their crystal beauty, now showed signs of individual expression. Some of their people had even begun to display emotions openly, finding strength in what they had once considered weakness. Humans, in turn, had learned from the Concordat's 10,000 years of peace. While maintaining their protective nature, they had gained a deeper understanding of diplomacy and the value of patience. The first human colonies established after the battle incorporated Concordat principles of sustainable development and harmony with their environments. Dr. Emily Watson, now head of the Joint Scientific Initiative, had made perhaps the most significant discovery. Working with Concordat scientists, she had decoded more of the hunters' biological data, revealing not just what they were running from, but how humanity and the Concordat could prepare. The threat the hunters feared isn't just powerful, she explained in her latest report to the Guardian Fleet Command. It's systematic, a force that brings order through destruction. The hunters were chaos incarnate, consuming everything in their path. What they feared was their opposite, a force that would impose absolute order, eliminating all variation and free will. This revelation had profound implications. The Concordats' pursuit of perfection had unknowingly been leading them toward becoming what the hunters feared. Humanity's chaos and adaptability, combined with Concordat wisdom and technology, offered a middle path, one that could preserve both order and freedom. First Minister Sixtal, addressing the Concordat Council, put it eloquently. For 10,000 years, we sought to eliminate conflict by eliminating difference. We created peace by removing all that could cause discord. But humans showed us that true peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the wisdom to know when to fight and the strength to fight effectively. The Guardian Fleet soon became more than just a military force. It became a symbol of a new way forward for all spacefaring civilizations. Other species, seeing how humanity and the Concordat had grown stronger together, began to join. Each brought their own unique perspectives and abilities, making the fleet stronger and more adaptable. As Admiral Chen concluded her address to the graduating class, she shared a vision of the future that would have seemed impossible just 5 years ago. We stand here not as humans or Concordat, not as warriors or peacekeepers, but as guardians of something greater than ourselves. We protect not just lives, but ways of life. Not just peace, but the right of all species to find their own path to peace. The graduates rose as one, human and Concordat together, along with representatives from a dozen other species who had joined the academy. They had learned to combine human courage with Concordat wisdom, to be both warriors and peacekeepers. They were the first of a new kind of protector, ready to face whatever threats the galaxy might hold. As the ceremony ended, Admiral Chen looked out at the Martian sunset, its light playing across the crystalline spires of the Academy. The galaxy was still a dangerous place, perhaps even more so now that they knew what lurked in the darkness between the stars. But for the first time, she felt truly confident about the future. Humanity had found its place in the cosmos, not by conquering or by submitting, but by showing the galaxy that true strength comes from embracing both chaos and order, both emotion and wisdom, both the warrior and the peacekeeper within.